I'd like to call to order the April 11th Recreation Committee meeting. All committee members are present except Mr. Randy Kulat. At this point, we'll do the invocation of prayer led by Councilman Oliver Joseph.
Yeah. Please stand, bow our head. Dear Lord, bless everyone on this committee to make the right decision for our community. Dear Lord, bless this great parish, this great state. Dear Lord, bless all the armed forces service members that give us the freedom to serve on this board and the freedom of speech. God bless everyone. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to remind the public, if anyone wants to speak, go ahead and fill out a public comment card and we'll go ahead and call you up.
I like,
Are there any additions?
yeah, I'd like to make a motion to add the lighting report from the administration and also Mr. Brown Center on the report.
Yeah, I'll second that. And
Now, a motion by Councilman Joseph, second by Councilman Lawler. Any objections?
do we need a roll call vote on that?
Roll
I
call,
think we have somebody to roll call.
roll call.
Need a roll call vote? Who roll call for me?
Oliver Joseph, yes.
Travis Turner, yes.
Aaron Lawler, yes.
John Cagnolati, yes.
We unanimous, the vote will be added to the agenda. We add it as agenda item number 4A.
We'll do the lighting as 4A, and then the Brown facility is 4B.
Yes. All right, there we go to, does anybody have, do we have any cards at the
No, you
podium?
have to make that
Oh.
statement, what they need to do if they want to speak.
Well, I did already.
Agree?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. No, I know I've seen somebody go fill one out. Yeah, anybody did, if anybody needs to speak, you'll fill out a card at the podium.
Green if you're in favor of something, or red if you're against it.
All right, with that, we'll go to agenda item number 4.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good to see you guys again. Another busy month in recreation. Report-wise, Recreation Department has stepped into the batter's box for our Operation Play Ball program. As always, we're improving, updating, maintaining all our ballparks daily to provide better facilities and playing surface throughout the parish. Our current fields are being reworked. We're leveling surfaces, eliminating lips, rebuilding mounds, adding new bases where needed. Bathrooms are being painted, bleachers cleaned, repaired. Our fan areas are being updated. We have projects lined up to upgrade infield grass, infield surfaces, and trying to add a little bit more shaded areas for our spectators. You may have noticed on our Facebook page that the last year was a very, very wet year. And of course, it slowed record just a little bit, but what it really slowed down was our leagues. Our baseball and softball leagues just had rainouts galore. So we're doing everything we can as far as resurfacing the field to make it a little more level. But then we've stepped up and purchased some equipment and set up to make sure that we can take a field that's been soaked the night before and still get it ready for game that same night. So I want to give a big shout out to my recreation department who's taking some fields that have been way underwater and still got them ready so far. I don't believe we've had but maybe one rain out so far since the league's been going. With that concludes the recreation director's report.
Any questions? Councilman Joseph?
Yeah, BJ, how is summer camp program coming on? We are still on schedule to have that program?
Yeah, it's all like I said, last week it was passed through everything full. I spoke with Miss Mitchell today. We're getting, she's selling in on all basically the locations and then the avenue that we're going to take for our online registration. And that should all be, decided by Monday. And Monday it should be up on the parish website. It'll be on our Facebook page. All the information they need, cost, dates, and everything else. Like I said, I know she settled on, I think, June 24th through July 26th. And like I said, by early next week, we should have all the information for the exact details for where you can go to do each thing to do for it, so.
Okay, all right.
And
Yes, sir.
Councilman
It's
Cagney.
going to be at Lamar Dixon, correct?
Right, Lamar Dixon and all the, it's majority of Lamar Dixon. I do think she has some field trips in there that are planned too. That's why we got in with, maybe some transportation deals. But for the most part, Lamar Dixon can cover pretty much everything they need, all their indoor out needs and outdoor needs.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing to add.
With that, we'll go to agenda item number 5, the skate park.
Nope.
Nope.
4A.
4A, I'm sorry,
4A.
the lighting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. What I wanted to tell you about, we had a concern about how we would be able to handle lighting in the ballpark. Fortunately, a few weeks ago, I had a visit with someone that kind of gave me an indication there was some SRF funding that would be contributed to lighting. This particular person had a lot of success in getting it done, so of course it piqued our interest that there's a SRF funding mechanism of about 2% interest, a 10-year term that would allow us to possibly get lighting done in Essentia Parish for those ballparks that desperately need it, and then put us in a situation where we can possibly pay it over a period of time. The good thing about it is that Dean worked with BJ and worked with the Recreation Department and the engineer that we had to look at the technical requirements for the lighting. We came up with a particular plan and cost of what it would take to do everything. That cost came up to about $3 million to do everything if you kind of put the money outright. If you put in the calculation of what would be the servicing of that debt over a period of 10 years, looking at about $400,000 and some odd thousand a year. The good thing about it is that if we went out for this particular SRF funding, we would not be, if we even got approved for the whole amount, we would only have to accept what we wanted to accept. So if this particular committee decided that $400,000 wasn't palatable at the time, if we wanted to reduce the scope of the project and just look at particular parks, we could do so as well. I asked Dean and BJ to go through that particular process. They did, and they also went through a list to prioritize which particular parks would be first and which could be brought up later. Again, this was an opportunity to get some funding and get some money available to us that will allow us to be able to service the public at a reduced cost. The reason why we asked that this be added on the agenda tonight, because again, we up against a time crunch. The application for this has to be in by the end of this month. We asking that this committee send to the council an approval to move forward with a less than $25,000 contract, with the organization that has been proven to do it. The group is Pivotal Engineering that has done several of these before and been very successful at getting money from Department of Natural Resources for this respect. So with the approval, we would immediately go ahead and try to get this done. Good thing about it is that when you're looking at these lighting projects, it could go for anything. It could go for lighting in gyms. It could go for lighting anywhere that's an improvement over the current situation that reduce costs and save natural resources.
Councilman Lawler.
First of all, I want to thank the administration, thank the Recreation Department for bringing this to our attention. As we've heard in recent weeks, we have a huge problem with lighting, especially at our baseball and softball fields. It's dangerous. We literally have lights falling down. We have lights out, which if you've ever played baseball, it's hard to see a ball as it is, especially if you get older like me. But even for kids, it's very dangerous if you don't have proper lighting out there. This is an opportunity for the parish to get, if I understand you right, a low-interest loan that we pay back over 10 years.
Yes.
And we don't have to accept all of it.
Right.
But we can, and we're working on it already to identify the cost per field, so we can basically pick and choose which fields, if we don't want to spend all $400,000 per se a year, which fields we can safely upgrade. And financially, do it within our financial budgets. I think this is a great thing. I'm going to make the motion that we hire I guess you'd say, retain the firm that's going to go out and try and get this money for us.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Got a motion by Councilman Lawler, second by Councilman Cagney. Any other questions? Councilman Joseph?
Mr. Dunson, the only thing is you're just requesting to retain that service for him to go out.
Yes.
The
return-
dollar value of it have to come back once they, have to come back to this committee so we can
Absolutely.
prioritize what we're gonna do.
Yeah, the goal is to see how much we're able to get, and then once we determine the amount of money we're able to get from DNR with it, we'll come back to this committee with the recommendations from Recreation, and to see if you want to go the whole amount, or if you want to do it in, smaller bites.
Okay, that's all.
Councilman Caden.
CJ, just a quick question. If we, we apply, we get this loan approved, will this give us an opportunity to upgrade to LED?
Exactly, that's what it
Okay.
was. I was gonna add that in there. Doing the research on it, one, it's so much more, so much less maintenance on the LED. And so that's strictly what we're going for. Besides doing some research over the past month or so on it, on an average, the LED lights run at 70% less cost than the ones we have now.
And they
So,
last
so
longer.
even then, in the long run,
Yeah.
once we do decide the dollar amount that we can within our budgetary, confinements afford, it's, other ends of our budget will be saved even more money. So it's something we really need. It's just going to bring us in the deal. It's going to add the candlelight that you were supposed to have is going to get us there. And then these things, like I said, they're almost no maintenance at all. And that's our biggest issue right now. We have the lights, but then some of these lights, they last 2 or 3 weeks because it's just so outdated. They're so short somewhere, and when we hire companies come in, it's so cost. It's going to cost you so much for me to track this problem down that you could just go ahead and replace it, so that's why we went to this avenue right here. And it's definitely, something smart and energy saving to do so.
Yeah, I think this is, is a very good idea. It's forward thinking, and it includes everybody. So
Right.
I think this is a really good idea for us to do, to go out and
LED
see if we can get
lights.
these funds.
Yes.
Another thing we talked about is our possible need for more fields. We actually do have more fields, that we've had that aren't in use as far as because they're not lighted. Okay, so they're with our things. So we're looking at it in this plan since you're there already. So to go ahead and light these fields too. So it's going to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We'll be able to add more fields in there and have them lighted at the same time. So
And it's a good job, BJ, for planning for the future and not just thinking right now.
right.
May I approach?
Yes.
That's my lawyer term. There's copies of it, just to show you the work that was done by BJ, Dean, and the engineering firm. That's kind of the breakdown, and that's the actual proposal that came back from Pivotal. You can see it's at 25,000, but they even did more work. So that's been a lot of effort put into this, and what we can hope for is that we awarded some money. For what I understand from the company, that's about $7 million that's available through DNR at this particular point. It's just like the sewer SRF loan. There's money put to it every year. So, and for what I understand, there's not a lot of people applying for it. So we got a great opportunity to get something. So I thank you for that, and we'll get on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll go to agenda item 4B, the Richard Brown Community Center. Councilman Joseph?
Yes. BJ, you have any comments on that?
Wait, you throw me for a loop on this. What are we talking about?
Well, that's the whole problem. I just have a couple,
Right.
citizen came up to me and asked if it was on the agenda, and they had some issues with the center, and I see Mr. Charlie out there. So, Mr. Charlie, if you want to take over this, please do, or you have a person to represent. If you have a card, you'll fill out the card. Yeah, can you just bring those cards up here?
And actually, I think this might be more regarding with the baseball as well. With the baseball as well, correct? Yeah, we just do it all at the same time. I think it has
Okay.
something to do with the baseball.
All right.
Yeah. With that, we'll go to agenda item number 5, the skate park update. We have been speaking to a company as far as that these skate park may be able to be cut up and move. Well, I don't know if cut up is the correct word, but can be broken down and moved to a different location. So we are,
Right.
so we are trying to work to try to see can that get done. And we also want to ask BJ so you can try to find a suitable location that the existing skate park can be moved.
Right.
Once it's
From the
dismantled.
second it was announced about having the wellness center and the location needed to go in, we've jumped on it already. We've been processing and going through multiple options for to relocating it. And then in talks today, talked about how there are parts of the skate park that don't have to be demoed. It can be removed and move to the new location, possibly, which is big time, saving us on costs, just relocation, and there's definitely stuff over there that can be reused, so.
What I would like to do is keep this on the agenda every month until we can come up with a final plan as far as where it can be, what parts can be moved and where it can be moved to.
Sounds good.
Councilman Lawler.
Yeah, if you may, I'll just add a little bit to that, because I know it's kind of confusing. How do you move a skate park? And from the people I've talked to, it's about 15 component cement parts that when they're placed next to each other with rebar in it, they go through and kind of like a pool, they put smooth cement down to smooth it out so then you can skate on it. The idea is that you can then, now we may be able to go in there, cut these areas where they had connected it previously, cut out the little bits of rebar in there, bring it to another area, create a pad for it, put it down again, and put the new cement on there, saving the cost tremendously.
Tremendously.
Yes, I mean, that's what we're looking at right now, and we're looking at new locations. Thank y'all for doing this. Good job.
Councilman Joseph.
BJ, on your Facebook, are you taking a survey where the community may like to have it in 1 hour parks? So you can get them involved in it to see if it's feasible and their
Right. Yeah,
input?
we haven't done that yet, but we can, and we will explore those options. So, like I
Okay.
said, we're just, between that, we're trying to narrow down the few options that we do have that may be new locations. And we actually brought up, in talks after the last meeting with some of the skate park guys about some of our space that we have at our parks, we could possibly put it there, and got the pros and cons from them on that already.
What is-
But once we have maybe some other possible options that of maybe new land, then we can add that to our survey too, to see what everyone's feelings are about it, so.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
No further question. We'll go to agenda item number 6, the baseball update.
Baseball, softball update, we're just coming in and giving some numbers since everything is cranked up on the east side, and the west side is narrowing in on their start dates. But baseball has 1,010 participants signed up combined for east side and west side. As a whole combined, those numbers are on the rise from last year. Softball has 470 participants, and that number again from last year is on the rise. So all these are, see that things are going well. Do want to make an announcement that Westside Baseball will have a meeting this Sunday, 4/13 at the Lemon Center, beginning at 1:30 for all coaches and parents. This is a kind of all-inclusive meeting that'll cover everything they need to know. At that time, late registration will be available. But you can also call anytime, the Monday through Thursday, to the Recreation Department at 225-473-3898, and you get more information on anything to do with the league and possible late registration.
Question? Okay. With that, we go to agenda item number 7, the Jackie Robinson Park, Kevin Jackson and David Lannis.
How y'all doing? My name is David Lannis. This is Kevin Jackson. A third of our party is missing today. Mr. Roy Lewis, who will also be helping out with us. What we like to do is start baseball at the Jackie Robinson Park. I myself played 4 years Dixie Youth, played for East Ascension, and also played for Kevin for a few years on the 18 and over team. Roy also played 4 years Dixie Youth, and also played for East Ascension, and they won a championship that year. So let's just show you guys we do have a passion for the game of baseball. Also, through the game of baseball, I would like to raise young men in our community. Teach them life skills that would add value to their life. Teach them respect, most importantly. Have morals and values. Teach them teamwork, responsibility. Also, just teaching about winning and losing. So that's what we would like to do. With that, we would also need you guys' help. We had been out to the field. Dirt has taken over the whole infield. So, I'm sorry, grass. So there's no dirt on the field at all. So we would like to get that addressed. Lights also, a lot of the lighting is out.
Put a fence around.
Yeah, also some of the fence is down. get some of the fence added up at the park, and hopefully, start utilizing the park.
Any questions?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I'll let Doja go first.
BJ, as far as the Jackie Robinson Park, is there anything being played there now?
I mean, there's some maybe some Sunday things that are going on. So I think fencing wise, the big tree fell through, so we had the tree removed, and there's some more fencing stuff there. But for the most part, we're working on all our ballparks, but that's at the time wasn't a current park that was being heavily used as far as like a league or something like that. We just got information about this little event that they want to trail into, and so we do have a big board at our office, and Jackie Robinson's on there, and we're doing this at all kinds of places, so we got. I mean, it's not going to take much. I mean, hasn't had a lot, but it won't take much. As far as us getting the park ready for for them to be able to use it, that's not an issue at all. So,
How long would you think it would take to get that park up and running that they can use to play?
I mean, at the maximum quality, I mean, probably a month or so, but it'll be playable. Lights wise, we turn them on. There's quite a few lights out. If it's just lights out, that's not a big issue. If it's something more than wires. But as far as getting the actual field itself ready and in playable shape, we can do that in a week. We can have 2 weeks at most. So.
Yeah, base is also dirt base.
Right.
We had also been reaching out to a few leagues. We were supposed to meet yesterday with someone from the Babe Ruth League. Talking to a few guys out in St. Gabriel and Donaldsonville, and most of the other guys, they excited and they ready to play.
What league is the parish currently playing in?
They're
the east
a
side.
combination of USSSA and Babe Ruth.
So if they were to do Babe Ruth there, would they just go underneath the current league?
We'll have to check into that and see, because I don't know if it's since they're just now starting it up, if there's an add-on, to the deal or not. I mean, we'll definitely look into it. So,
Councilman Joseph, you had a question.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on the league. So you having your own league? Or
No, we gonna have Babe Ruth League.
okay, so you currently did you talk to the current baseball association that we have in Ascension Parish?
Mr. Danny Allen, I spoke. Is Mr. Danny?
yeah,
Allen?
Danny Allen.
Yeah, I had given him a call maybe twice, and I was supposed to get some information back from him, but I hadn't got anything.
So, okay, so you don't have I guess, I'm trying to make sure we're one league and we're gonna play ball at Jackie Robinson Park,
Yes, sir, that'll be
Yes.
fine. Yeah.
and that's the key thing, because if it's a different league, then, I mean, I have,
Right.
issues with the insurance and all that. I mean, if you want, Jackie Robinson to be a designated area where the league is played, where the kids can be easily accessible,
Right.
I mean, I'm for that.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
we expanding the league around the parish, not in just particular parks. BJ, I mean,
Yeah, this is still in the infancy stage. I've just gotten a little bit of information about it. Still hadn't been able to sit down with these guys and figure out what age groups we're talking about, how many teams they're going to have, and then again getting with our current league to see if there's something that we can just kind of like how we do with the West Side. Some
Yeah.
crossover. One league, it's separate. It's really separate, but it's the same. So
Right.
it's under
And
one
it's-
umbrella. Yeah. So
that's what I think they was, when they started mentioning Downsonville, I'm saying, we just went through this here 2 years
Right.
ago to try to
Right.
get them on the same playing field.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm for that. I mean, to get Jackie Robinson Park active. Yes.
Councilman Lawler?
Yeah, I think this is a good idea. One of the things, I'm kind of tying this back into the lights issue. The reason is, and I know that there's some lighting issues at Jackie Robinson Park and at several other parks. A while back, I mentioned this, but I'd really like Martha Collins to look into it. The Major League Baseball Players Association Youth Development Foundation, they have grants. And I'm going to read something. Why do they have grants? It's to increase the number of youth participating in baseball and softball programs, improve the quality of youth baseball and softball programs, create new or innovative ways of expanding and improving baseball or softball programs. Programs that can obtain matching funds will be viewed favorably. That's important because we're going out to ask the state for some funds. Address programs for children aged 10 to 16, support existing programs which have demonstrated success in providing a quality baseball or softball experience for youth, which is something that we've done in Ascension Parish, and address opportunities for minorities and women. And Jackie Robinson Field is a minority field. Maybe that's not the right term. Somebody will get mad at me for that, but you know what I'm saying there. There is an opportunity here for us to go out and get a grant. Once again, I'm asking our grants administrator. I don't know that we've ever applied for this grant before. I know it's been brought up. I don't see any reason for us not to. But if we are going to try and get $3 million in funds that can be used, and I don't see why they couldn't as of right now, but as matching funds for this grant, we have an opportunity to save some of that $3 million, get it a grant, and do some work at Jackie Robinson Field. I mean, that's one of the fields we get drawn on. There are several others. So this is, I know Martha's not here, but I'm asking Martha to apply for this grant and do it extremely soon. I think it's great that we're going to expand baseball. I grew up playing baseball. Mm-hmm. We need to get it in every community and make it easy for everybody to get there. So thank you, gentlemen, for working on this.
And I also think that's in the lighting district, my lighting district act, so maybe one that we can go ahead and start working on now, actually.
You have a lighting district. What do you do?
You got money.
I tell you, bragging again.
So, BJ, would that be something you're going to be able to meet with them on and try to get?
Yeah, I'll get with the guys and we'll get more information from it. And then same thing, we'll get with Martha on that end too. Like I said, that that when we expand to that's what, and we're all for it, because when we're all for recreation, any type of recreation, we're all for team sports in any area. But even as just on a recreation as a whole, the more traffic that's at the park, then the more safe the park is. It's when it's dark out there at night, in any park, not just that park, but any park, that's when bad things can happen. So the more activity we can have at the parks is definitely a win-win for everyone. So,
Mr. Chairman, I just want to compliment you, young man, on taking the initiative here.
Thank you.
Because you're doing something good for kids, and that's what it's all about. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
All right, thank y'all. I just got handed a green card from Ms. Doris Green. It doesn't say what item or what you want to speak on.
That's 4B, right?
Yes.
You can put it down.
I can't.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like for you to hear me. That's why I want to pull it down. Anyway, I was told during the week that a lady that rented the Geismar Community Center complained about these two young men here being over at the community center to register kids because they're trying to see just how many kids they're going to get and that kind of stuff. And when they mentioned it to me, I gave them Charlotte's number, and I told them to call and let them know that they were going to be there that morning from 8 to 12. And they called, but evidently went to a voicemail or something. And when I talked to Charlotte later during this week, she told me that the lady complained and they had rented it out to the lady and they didn't want anybody there. So we tried to remind her, that they knew that someone was going to come in later during the day to plan for that night. That's why the boys was going to be out by 12. And just like to get the record straight, that these are the young men that I call on when I ask them to, just like Jackie Robinson get dirty, well, the community center on the left side, they don't clean that. And these are the young men that I call on. If, when I needed basketball goals put together, David and his wife, they spent more than a day and a night there getting them together. When we need bookshelves, we can call on these boys. When the parish had carpenters to go in and do a window last spring, because I do camp in the summer, starting June 3rd this year, and every year around that time. And they did get it done, but they left it dirty. Sheetrock, nails, screws, the white dust from the sheetrock being cut in the building. And I did ask for someone to clean it. I called Michelle. And she said, all right. But someone picked up a few pieces of sheetrock, but there's no way I could bring 100 kids in that building with, I didn't want anybody to bring my kids. I have 4 kids of my own in there with that kind of dust and dirt. We ought to be better than that. And they did not get it done. So these are the young men and some young ladies also. And as old as I am, I have to admit that I wind up mopping myself. So when they are trying to do something for the rest of our kids in Geismar, and they came to me with it, what I did, I gave them Charlotte's number to call to let her know they were going to be there. And I gave them a key to get in. And I would just like for them to clear that up, that the children in Geismar do need that building. And it was a committee of us, not a committee of 50 or 25. Just a very few of us called Caring Parents of Geismar, and we worked very hard. And 10 plants gave us money toward that building. And we were advised by supposedly some great minds in the parish, now that you're getting a building, you will not be able to maintain this building. Turn it over to the parish and let the parish maintain it for you, because you are taxpayers also. So that's what we did. But we would still like to go into that building and get things done when we need to. I finally got dates blacked out for camp this summer, but I called them months ago. And the same, like theirs went to the voicemail, mine went to the voicemail. No one called me back. So a week or 2 ago, I called for another date for some ladies who want to register the children online for books. And that's when I said, well, what about my dates? I said, I called you months ago. And that's when I didn't get it. Someone else got it and didn't tell me about it or whatever. And I can sign you up now. So then they blacked out the dates. But if I had not called them back, I don't know what would have happened. But we would like to just kind of get all of that settled so there won't be any confusion. And I understand this lady that was renting the building was very upset, and she gave these 2 young men a hard time.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Green.
Mm-hmm.
With that, we go. Mr. Charlie Stevens.
You know, I am very concerned about my community, Geismar. And I feel I have a right. You know, I got an outlet at 3 of the major nursing homes in this parish. I'm doing the maintenance program, Pecan Grove Elementary, Harvey Elementary, Gonzales Primary, and now we are targeting Gonzales Middle. I believe in making a healthy contribution to humanity. And I believe when we all work together, our effort is greater, our product are more productive, and it increases the possibilities if we're doing something that is greater. Now, I cannot stand here and overemphasize the importance of recreation. I coached for a long time. I've always worked with young people. I spend my time at the swimming pool. We're talking about our leaders of tomorrow. And how good our leaders are going to be tomorrow. It is what we will do today, teaching leadership. Now, let me tell you, this young man, Daddy, had a tremendous recreational program years ago. It increased the quality of our community. The majority of the young men at that time went to college. Now, we have a number that are not finishing high school. Now, I'm just trying to emphasize how important recreation is. So I'm asking that you work with these young men, and I'm going to start working with them, and I have a heavy load. I'm 81 years old. But you know what? I'm going to fight it till I die, because I know the importance. And I went back, and it penetrated my mind. 30 years ago, good lad, did an educational study between England and France and America. And his conclusion were, the way we were educating our kids in the United States, we would end up being a nation at risk. I refuse to believe that. I believe America is the greatest country in the world. But there were some elements of that study that I did believe. Now, I read in the paper, this young man, 14 years old, handgun. This guy get out of his car because he liked his car and he enjoyed the car he was riding in. What he does, he pulls out his pistol and he takes this man's life. This man was a musician. He played music for the churches in Baton Rouge. He is dead. Now, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do with our young people to change the direction in which they are traveling? What are we going to do to teach self-discipline? And self-discipline is not discipline result from pressure. I know when pressure meets pressure, pressure recognizes pressure. But we're talking about self-discipline. And self-discipline is you do what is right because it is the right thing to do. And I believe all of you want this parish to be the greatest parish it's possible of being. We can all work together. And I believe when we all put our shoulders to the plow, I believe we're going to get some productive results. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. With that, we have no more speaker cards. With that, we go to agenda item number 8.
Motion.
Second.
Motion to adjourn. Seconded by Councilman Lawler. Meeting adjourned.